Okay, we're here tonight in Fort Worth, Texas, here at the Last Rodeo premiere. We have so much to view tonight. We have live red carpet interviews. We have a bunch of behind-the-scenes content we're going to show you. But first, if you have not gotten your tickets to see the Last Rodeo, go to angel.com/rodeo. Get your tickets today. It comes out Memorial Day weekend. You are not going to want to miss it. But without further ado, let's jump into the show right now. Okay, we're here with Jon Avnet, the director of The Last Rodeo. First question for you, Jon. I would love to know what drew you to the story behind The Last Rodeo. You have such a wide variety of content spanning different genres and themes. So what was it about this story?
Well, that's a good question to start. It started simply, Neil and Derek Presley wrote a script. They gave it to me. I thought it had some potential. And Neil said something I thought was very smart. He said, make it your own if you're going to direct it. So I thought, okay, that's the way I need to operate. I need to own it. And so I started doing research, and I did a lot of writing and wrote most of the father-daughter stuff and the Charlie-Joe relationship, and then had to figure out how to get the bull riding stuff right. It wasn't right in the original script. And so that process gave me, in a way, ownership of the written material. And then as a director, it was easier in a way for me to figure out how to direct it and how to have confidence in it. Because if you don't have confidence in the script, you got a problem. Yeah.
I love what you brought up about the father-daughter relationship and the best friend-friend relationship. I think some people can make the mistake of reading The Last Rodeo and think, oh, it's a rodeo movie, that's it, done. Can you talk more about the other themes in the film when it comes to family, friendship, faith?
Well, what I liked about the story was the bull riding, because it gave me an opportunity to actually concentrate on things that I think I'm pretty good at, which is the more intimate interactions between people, and particularly the father-daughter stuff and the relationship between Joe and his best friend Charlie. So I thought I was afforded the opportunity. Now, I think you're correct that unless you market it properly, you may not know what's in there. And I see a lot of people, they certainly laugh during the movie, but they also are pretty deeply moved. And so it's always tricky to figure out how you sell a movie as opposed to what the movie is and how you make it. So that I depend on Angel. But I think that what made it potentially a film with a capital F, if you will, was the combining of those events. So that the reason he has to ride is a very personal one. The problems he has with his daughter are very personal, and they're exacerbated by the situation and what he has to do. The reason he's even seeing Charlie in the first place is because of his son. And so he has to confront his past. And in confronting his past, Charlie has to basically say to him something similar that his daughter is, how much he was hurt by Joe being selfish. Now, we all understand what it's like on the surface, you know, to mourn someone, to lose someone you love. But there's a part of that that's selfish at some point, where it hurts other people. And that debris field is what a lot of the movie is about. And can you clean any of it up? Can you have a second chance? Can you do better? Those are the questions that the movie asks, and I think it's surprising. Yeah.
And the system at Angel is very unique in a way. What was your experience with the Angel system? We have a guild membership of over 1 million people who approved your film to be taken to theaters. How does that feel to have 1 million people backing your film right out the gate, ready to see this film be made?
Well, obviously, it's great to have... You can stand next to me. You can stand in front of me. He asked, how does it feel to have 1 million guild members back in the movie? So I was about to answer. We see this guy's smiley face. I've worked with him how many years now? Since 2002 about, right?
Yeah, somewhere.
On Boomtown. And this guy, besides being a great actor, having a great sense of humor, he's also had my back a number of times, for which I will always be grateful. So going back to your question, if I may, it's an unusual system, and it's a great vote of confidence, and it was wonderful. Jordan Harmon, in particular, screened the film twice for a sample Angel audience. And that was really important to me because I wanted to do a movie on a big screen. And that wasn't the final way that Angel said, you know, the Angel members, the guild voted on it, but it gave me a good indication. And, you know, I'm kind of feisty. I want to make the movie I want to make, but I'm not doing it to not, you know, satisfy this audience. So I think the simple answer to your question is it's nice to have people liking the movie, and apparently the numbers were very, very big. Yeah, and so that was a way of vindication for what we did, what we tried to do. And, you know, working with T and Neil and even Sarah, you know, we're a team.
Absolutely, to the core.
Yeah.
To the core. Yeah, there's nothing like the way Angel does business. There's nothing quite like it. It's unique, and I'm proud that they're doing their thing.
I love working with this guy.
And, thank you, Mykelti. And I would love to ask one more question, and the question is, why should people go see this film Memorial Day weekend?
Well, one, I think when you walk out of the theater, you're going to feel really good. You may look at things a little different. And it's not often that a film can alter the way you see things, and in this case, in a positive way. So, you know, I did Tom Cruise's first big hit in Risky Business. God bless him. He's a great guy, real pro, a friend. You know, Lilo and Stitch is going to be massive. But you see Last Rodeo, you're going to walk out feeling good about life. And that's not a bad thing.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for your time, Jon. I appreciate it. Thank you. So we have Mykelti Williamson here, actor in The Last Rodeo. First question for you is, you have such a diverse work with television and movies. What drew you to the story of The Last Rodeo?
The humanity of my friend Neil McDonough. Neil saw this in a vision, and it was just a short story at the time, but he shared it with me, and he said, "You got to come with me." And I said, "Absolutely." So Neil just got after it. He and Ruve and Kip, and they got after it, and here we are. Now we're partnered up with Angel Studios, and it's on, man. Yeah.
Something that I love about this movie specifically is it's so much more than a rodeo movie as well. There are so many other themes that are interwoven in the film. Can you talk a bit about the themes of family and friendship in the movie?
Yeah, it's family, but it's also individual. You know, every hero has two journeys. I don't know how many people in the audience know that, but there's the internal journey and the external journey you see when you're watching the movie. What's going on the outside, but what's burning on the inside? What drew me to this movie is what was burning on the inside for Neil's character, and what was burning on the inside for his best friend Joe, and what was burning on the inside for his daughter. That internal burn is why I watch movies, because I want to see what that person decides in their navigation of that journey. And I just think there's some really interesting journeys in this movie, and it's a lot of fun too.
So there's a lot of things that scream cultural Americana, and rodeo is very much one of them. What was it like diving into the world of rodeo? Do you have any fun stories you'd like to share with the audience?
I absolutely love rodeo. I was first introduced to rodeo when I was a kid, and ended up getting a job cleaning up at the rodeo so I could get in the rodeo for free, right? And it is Americana. It's everything that's good about us. is what the Western cowboy lifestyle is. It represents everything that's good about us. I didn't say perfect about us. I said good about us. Yeah.
And there's a broad question, but why do you think people should go to their local theater and see The Last Rodeo this Memorial Day weekend?
The reason you should see this movie Memorial Day weekend, The Last Rodeo, Memorial Day weekend, is because we were very intentional when we made this film. We made it for you, for the audiences. We made it for the Angels Guild. We made it with you in mind. So when you go and see this movie, we trust that you will be moved, you will laugh. Even the guys, you're gonna look around to see if everybody's watching that tear. But you're gonna laugh, you're gonna chuckle. We have cowboy fights, we got everything in this movie, man. It's everything a movie should be, and that's why I'm so proud of it.
So we're here with Daylon Swearingen of the PBR. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, doing good. You?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. So first question is, what do you hope people take away from this film, and what do you hope people learn about the rodeo craft and sport?
Yeah, I think, I hope that they learn that, like, this community and this way of life, it's a lot of faith-based, family-based, and, everybody wants everybody to do good and take care of everybody, and, it's a tough game to play, and you'll definitely see that in the movie.
What was it like stepping out, of course, of your comfort zone, being a PBR rider, into acting? What was that like?
Yeah, I don't have any background before this, but with Neil and Mykelti and Jon, the producer, I learned so much in a short amount of time that, if I feel like if I ever did it again, I'd do a lot better job. And because I learned so much from those guys and, people I grew up watching, it was cool to be on the same film with them.
Were there instances during the creation of this film to where you're communicating to an actor how a bull rider job works, and then they're communicating with you how to act? Was there that back and forth, sort of like a co-education between people on set?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely it was a learning curve for everybody, from sharing my experiences and them sharing theirs, and I think, this is a very authentic movie, and it definitely seems that way from me watching it. Being a professional bull rider, I think everybody in the Western industry will love this movie, and I look forward to hearing about it.
So for a lot of people, they might watch this movie, fall in love with the rodeo sport. What advice would you give to someone who leaves this film and they're like, I want to get involved?
Oh yeah, there's so many ways to get involved, from being fans. PBR has teams now. The PBR comes to every major city across the United States and Canada, Brazil, everywhere, you can find it everywhere. The PBR does a great job of putting it out there for everybody on YouTube and Pluto and CBS, You can find it in so many ways, and, you can follow me. You can follow all the bull riders on Instagram and everything like that, and, it's a really cool experience.
So when people purchase their ticket, sit down in their local theater, what do you think they can expect when they watch The Last Rodeo?
Yeah, this is a movie that is in a time right now when we need a true movie that is true to people's hearts and everything, and I think you're going to see that, from faith and family, and just taking the grit and determination that Neil does in this movie to get what he needed to for his family. I think, it shows incredible faith how he got there, and, it's just a time where we need a good, heartfelt movie.
So we have Kip Konwiser here, producer of The Last Rodeo. So there are so many different things you can choose to produce. What drew you to The Last Rodeo?
Neil McDonough, absolutely. Neil McDonough and his wife Ruve were the North Star of this movie from the beginning. It was their relationship that gave us the original idea. When they called me from the breakfast table with Derek Presley, the writer, said, what do you think about? I really felt at that moment an epiphany hit me that this is an angel movie. We need to reverse engineer every element of this film from the original idea all the way through the process backwards from what would the angel audience want us to do with a rodeo film. And I hope that that's what we did. So Neil and Ruve were the North Star, and the angel audience was right there alongside us.
Something that I love about this film is it's so much more than just a rodeo movie. There's so many themes interwoven, themes like friendship and family. Can you talk a bit about those themes?
Thank you. Yes, the rodeo is really intended as a backdrop. This is a reconciliation story of family relationships. Father and a daughter, where there's a lot of unsaid business that comes out in the course of the movie, and best friends, and what it is to always be there as a best friend. I think this film and its themes of faith and family and time is also a real theme in this. Really define a lot of the subtext of the film. And the subtext is not the bull ride. That's the text. The subtext is Joe wants to ride the bull, but Joe needs to reconcile with his best friend and his daughter. And the struggle between those things is what you're referring to that is really, I think, quite satisfying in this movie.
Something that I'd love to know is, so say people have their ticket, they sit down to watch this film, what can they expect when the curtains come up and the film starts?
To expect with The Last Rodeo is a really fulfilling experience. It might be as good of entertainment as you're going to see this year. It delivers humor, it delivers pathos and vulnerability. It's got action like you have never seen. I don't care what rodeos you've been to, you have not seen rodeo like this, and you will never see it like this again. And it reminds you that your family is first. Respectfully, your family is first, not your country, not everything else. It's all about at home. At home is where we really get all the lessons that bring us forward. And I think that that's what this movie is really trying to say so clearly.
And then finally, I'm not sure the full breadth of the creation process, but there are any stories of the creation process that you'd like our audience to know about?
Sure. This movie is directed by the absolutely incomparable director, Jon Avnet. And Jon is well known for many, many movies, Oscars, Emmys, Tonys on Broadway. And if you look at Jon's career, you're going to find he's constantly entering environments he knows nothing about as a Brooklyn boy. And so what you get is this sense of discovery from a great artist who's delivering a super authentic, relatable story that an audience who's lived in this world or one that has never been part of it can both enjoy equally. And I'm really proud to have been a part of producing that journey for everybody's enjoyment.
I am Sean Gleason. I'm the CEO and Commissioner of the Professional Bull Riders. We helped Angel and the McDonoughs bring this to life by producing all of the bull riding scenes and have been promoting it up and down the road ever since.
What did that process look like as far as helping a bunch of actors understand and stay safe when it comes to professional bull riding?
Well, the first thing you have to do is make sure they're willing to break down the stereotypes, that it's not just a bunch of drunk guys that throw the beer can in the back of the truck or hand it to you and say, watch this. You know, these guys, the bull riders are athletes in every respect, and they're professionals. They're committed to the sport. And when we get involved with the project, that's what we want to make sure is happening, that there's a deference to the realism, or, you know, to realism in a film project that gives those guys the due respect they deserve.
Something that is extremely powerful about sport movies is the commitment to athletic excellence. And that is definitely no different when it comes to professional bull riding. What do you hope this film does for the sport of PBR and bull riding in general?
Well, I think that it's going to introduce a lot of people that are completely unfamiliar with the sport in general, but the PBR brand of the sport. And so, you know, when you can get in front of a new audience, somebody that loves Neil McDonough, somebody that loves Angel, somebody that loves, you know, just film in general and great storytelling, when you can get in front of those people and break away a few of those perception issues and peel back the onion and show them that there's, you know, this incredible, challenging sport at the core of this, and there's great athletes, bulls and riders, then does justice for us.
So let's say a member of the audience sees this film and it draws a passion for bull riding in their life. What advice would you give to that person who's really not familiar with it but loved this movie and wants to get involved?
Well, if you're a young man or young woman that wants to ride bulls for a living, I suggest you find somebody that knows how to do it and learn a lot of ins and outs about the sport before you give it a try, because it's not something you do every day. But you know, the people that are out there in this audience that appreciate the pretext or the story that's unfolding with Neil and his return to the arena, come check out a real PBR event. We get people hooked with the spectacle of bull riding and the craziness and the danger and the excitement, but then they become fans for life when they fall in love with the sport.
And this is a bit of a broad question, final question. Why do you think people should go buy tickets, go to their local theater, and watch the movie The Last Rodeo?
Because I said so. It's authentic. You know, we don't put our stamp of approval on much, especially, you know, in the media and movie space, when people take liberties and don't tell a true story or a realistic story, then, you know, we don't put our stamp of approval on it. This one has our full stamp. Neil McDonough is an incredible human being. His wife, Ruve, everybody we've met that's been involved with Angel and this product are top notch, and everybody should go see this movie. It's great. I've seen it.
He is a natural on a steer.
Dad, I don't want him riding bulls. We've already been through this. Please don't encourage him.
What are your thoughts on next year's championship final?
Well, it'd be great if Joe Wainwright could ride again.
But if you entered that, you'd whoop their...
Who taught you how to talk like that?
You.
That's not bad for an old fart.
Charlie, I want to ride.
Ain't no way on God's green earth you riding in the PBR.
This is a joke. Have you lost your mind?
I'm going to say goodbye to Cody first.
Not one word.
Well, that went well.
Yeah, very.
I heard you're gonna ride in the competition. Mom doesn't seem too pleased about it.
Oh, well, this is gonna be big.
This ain't the senior circuit.
But I can't break free.
What is that? Chocolate milk?
Let's ride, boy.
Cody needs surgery. I can't afford it. I have no money.
How you feeling?
I told you I've got this.
I want to ride like the wind for my grandson.
Can't stop me now. Not getting hurt. Lace on my crown. Take my victory.
I can't keep blaming you. I just gotta let go and move forward.
Joe Wainwright, 3-time world champ, rides again for Cody.
That's a genuine, true legend right there.
Focus.
It's not my first rodeo, Pops.
So we are here with the team behind The Last Rodeo, and I just want to know, how does it feel, having been with this project for so long, that it's finally here? Your guys' baby is out into the world, that millions and millions of people can view it now. How does that feel? We'll start with you, Neil.
It feels amazing. It's to have the support of Angel. I can't even put into words the amount of work that they've put in the film to show the amazing work that Jon Avnet, who helped write the film, who directed a masterpiece of a film, what he did with the bull riding sequences are amazing. It's just pure eye candy. But what he did with the relationships of the characters, that's what makes him such an amazing director, and that's why the film is so fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I tell you, as a producer of a film, it's like raising a child. And there's never a more prideful moment than when that child's appreciated by, as you say, millions of other people. from your lips to the rest of the world's ears, I hope they enjoy this child as much as we have in raising it.
Well, for me, what usually matters the most is moments of magic. And they don't happen here in the theater, although an audience, if Neil and T and Kip and I have done our job, may experience a little bit of it. But it's when Mykelti's in a diner and he's talking about his life and how Joe, the character Neil plays, has let him down. And what Mykelti did was magic. And what Sarah Jones did in the hospital when she was telling him a similar story about the pain that he caused when he lost his wife in his grief. Those were moments of magic to me, and that's what I live for. And then to deliver them, as Kip says, to an audience is a privilege and a pleasure. He can do anything.
I can do anything. I get paid the same thing, so don't worry about it.
He can play the harmonica, sing the blues.
Yeah. I make exactly the same money.
Except he can't keep his feet moving when we're on the court. No.
Listen, it's an honor to be teamed up with Angel and to be teamed up with these guys here. It's a privilege. We hope audiences love what we did because we did it together. And we hope they really, really, really love it.
I'll close with this. It's a broad question, but I think it's a very important question. And that is, what do you hope people take from this film? When they sit down, what can they experience when the lights go down, the screen turns on, the projector turns on? What will they be experiencing when they watch The Last Rodeo?
Well, I think people know that when they go to an Angel production, that they don't have to worry about covering eyes, covering ears to kids, offending older people. It's a film that the whole family can go to. It's an old school type of film. Everyone can go and see it. Everyone can have a conversation about it after. How often does that happen anymore? All the movies nowadays are all big explosive films or very dark, smaller films. This is a chance for everyone out there in the Guild to make a change in what is made in Hollywood. So support this film. As I've said, everyone in the Guild, if you buy one ticket, everyone, you'll tell Hollywood that we need to make a change because films like The Last Rodeo are out there because of Angel. We're going to make a change. So please support us one ticket at a time. Let's go.
I'll just say, sure, real briefly. Getting on a bull is a life-threatening, courageous experience, but it pales in comparison to coming home and facing your own family if there's still some unreconcilable differences. So when you see this movie, you'll see your family, you'll see all the subtext of what someone wants and what someone needs authentically put in front of you on the screen in ways that Hollywood tries to do, and I feel we've done really successfully, mostly because of these men on either side of me, and principally because of the man I'm handing the microphone to, our director, who led us entirely on that journey following the North Star of the McDonoughs.
Well said, Kip. The question was, what do we want an audience to take? I think, for me, there are no excuses in life to be the best person you can be. That's what I'd like people to take from this film.
That's powerful. We hope that people take away from the film what it is they need. This is a smorgasbord. There's something for everybody. We'll touch you, we'll move you, we'll make you laugh. We got a couple jokes. We got some cowboy fights. We've got all kinds of really good, juicy stuff. And you can watch it with your family. That's what we do.
Okay, we are here with Graham Harvey, actor in The Last Rodeo. We have a few questions for you. First question is, so you are a Dallas local. How is it? What is it like to have a premiere in your hometown?
I mean, it was in driving distance, so it's already really, really easy. So it was a great way to start. I mean, this is my first premiere.
Yes.
So I mean, it was really easy. We just drove to the hotel and then drove here. So yeah.
And how did you first get involved with The Last Rodeo?
Well, I got the audition, and then I got called for a director's session, which was basically 30 minutes with Jon. I don't know where Jon is, but hats off to Jon. Get it? Yes. And yeah, no, then I booked it. so yeah.
Do you have any favorite moments from set you'd like to share with the viewers?
Neil and I, we have a scene where we play checkers. It's at the very start of the movie. You know, Neil has this thing where he's not selfish when he acts, and he likes to set up the other character for success. And so he really likes the jokes. He makes the jokes like 10 times funnier, which is really cool. He's wonderful to act with. I mean, he's Neil McDonough, right? Right. And then this is funny. On the very last scene of the movie, we're again playing checkers. I'm a big fan of checkers. If you didn't, right? So we play checkers, and the last line of the movie, I king him, and I say king me, and then fades out or whatever, you know. I watched it. That's not what the line is at the very end. So I'm still waiting for the director's cut. I hope that's coming out soon. So yeah, no, we'll see what happens.
Next question is, if acting doesn't work out, do you have any plans to join the rodeo?
To join the rodeo, I would probably need some experience. You know, maybe I'll take after Billy Hamilton. But I mean, I'll try my best if it doesn't. So yeah, no, luckily I got some time to think about it.
That's great, man. That's awesome. And so what is next for you? I heard you just got back from shooting in Europe. What was that like?
Europe? Yeah, no, we were in Budapest. It was crazy. They have really good food there. Yeah. They have the best pizza I've ever had there. But I mean, it's beautiful. Like the views, there's St. Stephen's Basilica. That was crazy. We had this ice cream, so they have chimney cakes. And it's like this cinnamon thick tortilla, and it's like hard and hot, and then you can put ice cream in it. That was amazing. It was so good. They have great gelato also.
And final question for you. It's a bit of a broad question, but why do you think people should go see The Last Rodeo in theaters?
Well, it will bring you to tears. It will make you laugh, and it'll make you be like, oh my gosh, what just happened? That was crazy. Also, it'll leave you with a message to love your family, to do anything for your family, be stubborn. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. After you see it, you'll want to go see it again. And then after that time, you'll be like, maybe I'll just go see it one more time. And then I'll just be in a loop. Your entire life, you're going to watch it. So, get ready.
My name is Ezekiel Mitchell, and I'm a professional bull rider with the PBR. Yes, sir.
So for a lot of people, this film, The Last Rodeo, might be their first exposure to the sport of rodeo. What can people expect when they watch this movie?
Oh, man, I think I've said this before, and I think the craziest thing is everybody thinks we're wild, crazy guys, but a lot of the story is the same thing that we live in our real lives, you know. We're very family-oriented, things happen, you know, and I hope people realize that we are normal people. We're not just crazy guys that jump on bulls, but I think you'll see that in the film is that, and then we actually do care about each other, and I think this sport is so beautiful, and I really just hope people can fall in love with the sport and be able to come out to live events and come actually check out rodeos and figure it out. If they've never been, I always tell people you don't have to come from my lifestyle to enjoy it, because it's a great show and it's a great process.
So a lot of people may watch this film, they might fall in love with the sport of rodeo. What advice would you give someone who's like, okay, I saw this movie, now what? I want to get involved. What advice would you give them?
Find whoever you can figure out that knows the sport. I mean, whether if you're a kid and you want to start riding, find somebody that actually knows the sport and learn it, because it is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous, scary sport. Anybody that gets into it, just do your research. That's all I ask is do your research, because it is dangerous. You know, guys can lose their life. You know, and I just want everybody to enjoy it, but I want everybody to be safe too.
And have you seen the film yet?
I've not seen the film yet. I'm excited. I've seen the trailer.
From what you've seen in the trailer, do you think the bull riding is portrayed correctly? What do you think?
Well, I rode some bulls in the movie, so I guess it was portrayed correctly because I had to do it, you know. No, I think so, and I think Neil and the rest of the crew, John and Mykelti, I think they really did their research, and that's what I appreciated about them. When we were shooting there in Tulsa, they were willing and able to listen to everything we had to say as far as critiquing goes about what's authentic, what feels real, what doesn't feel real. They're more than willing and able to do it for us, and that's all I could ever ask for is just be true to the sport, you know, and they did a really good job of doing that.
Of course, with this film creation, you have a bunch of actors entering in your world, professional bull riding, and you have to teach them on how things work, the culture behind it. What was that experience like, having a bunch of actors enter into your world?
It was really cool. Like I said, that was the weirdest part about it. You know, I expected them to be actors or celebrities, but they were friends and they were guys and they listened and they cared. And that's really what's so incredible about the group of people that made this film, is that they really cared at the end of the day. And they made it so easy. It never felt like we were working with actors. We almost felt like we were working with bull riders because they cared enough to figure it out. So yeah, it was really cool.
Final question's a bit of a broad one, but why do you think people should go see the film The Last Rodeo?
Because we're in a day and age right now where faith is becoming important again. And I'm so glad that this film is based off of faith and family. And I think everybody should see it, because even if you don't come from rodeo, it's a relatable film, because it is real life, you know, and people go through it all the time, like same situations that are going on. So I think that's really what, I don't know what else to say about that, I guess.
My name is Derek Presley, and I'm one of the writers. One of three. I wrote it with Jon Avnet, and I wrote it with Neil McDonough, who came up with the story.
And what was the writing process like? How did you dive into this, you know, very rich world, Americana, rodeo world?
Yeah, well, I guess, so Neil approached me with the story. We've written a lot together, and we've made a couple films together. So, you know, writing something and getting them made are two totally different things. So we got a lot of scripts we've written, they haven't got made yet. So he came to me with this one, and he had all these great ideas. And of course, the idea was so personal to him that I was kind of moved by that. I was like, that's pretty awesome, because of where it came from. To see, I don't know if you've shared that. It's not my place to say it. So, but it was a beautiful place where it came from. And then he told me what it would be about. And last film I saw that I can remember was 8 Seconds. That was years ago, you know, back in the early 90s. And rodeo and everything. Neil's actually entrenched in all this stuff with Taylor Sheridan, Yellowstone, and Tulsa King. So kind of that grit, that Southern mentality is kind of big right now. And those are certainly characters that I know because they're in my family, because I'm born in Fort Worth, and I live here to this day. I live 10 minutes away, 13 minutes away maybe. So I think I had a hand really in building the world with him in that level, and a lot of the dialect and some of the characters, things of that nature. And then of course you get Jon Avnet, who comes in after, but he makes it his own, which was beautiful, because you know he saw things that Neil and we were so close to something, as you kind of, I'm sure you know, it's a collaboration. So Jon comes in, and he sees things that I would have never thought about, and it's little things like the father-daughter dynamic wasn't as prominent in our first, you know, our drafts, right? I was writing from the perspective of Mykelti and Neil, because they're two of my favorite actors, on a road trip, you know, going to a rodeo. And they were, you know, Jon came in and said, no, this is, and then once we all, you know, worked together, we found a common ground, and it was amazing. So, but again, when you have a guy like Jon, you got a guy like Neil, it makes my job really easy.
Something that I love about this film is the richness. What you're talking about is like, it's an action rodeo film, it's a buddy film, it's about faith, friends, and family. Can you talk a bit about the richness to where it's so much more than, you know, just a rodeo movie?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. On the surface, it's a rodeo film, and that's what people are going to say. It's a rodeo. And Sean Gleason, the PBR, you know, I think I've heard Kip Konwiser and Neil both say this, maybe Jon too. So sorry. We wouldn't have made this movie without the PBR. Wouldn't have happened. Not in the way it was. They add to that richness, that organization, because they allowed the filmmakers who made the movie, Jon and Denis Lenore, the cinematographer, the production designers, everybody was involved. They gave them full access to everything you need to create that, you know, to create that world on a budget that typically you wouldn't have, you know? And so that's part of that, right? That's one aspect of it. But the other aspect is the family dynamic between Cody, between Sally, between Neil, between Mykelti, who is family in the film, you know, and they're fractured. And, you know, no, I don't know about you, but I mean, I'd love to see a film where a fractured family comes together, because it's I'm not saying it's fantasy, because it certainly can happen in real life, but it's wholesome, you know, it's heartfelt, yeah. And so all of that stuff is really kind of what's at the forefront of it. It's more about the family than it is rodeo. You know, rodeo comes into play for sure, and they did it so well because of the PBR. But really, you know, you could have. I don't know. This may be blasphemous to say this, but I mean, you know, this type of story could have been, you know, 2 baseball players, you know, instead of rodeo. You know what I mean? I mean, the story, just the story. And then the rodeo gave it that other world that not a lot of people get to see outside of Texas and Oklahoma and places like that. And with the PBR, you know, I didn't even know until I started writing this with Neil that they have places in New York. They have rodeos in LA. I didn't even know that, you know? So it's kind of, I'm not saying that it's taken over, but it's definitely a huge thing now compared to what it was. It's real beautiful to see, so.
Okay, so we're here with Gabriel Sousa, an actor in The Last Rodeo. I'd love to ask you a few questions about what was it like preparing for this type of role?
Oh, just an absolute honor. You know, I had grown up, I was born in Brazil, in Goiânia, Goiás, in the middle of Brazil, where the rodeo is a big part of the culture there. And so the first thing I did was dig deep in all the experiences that I had growing up, just trying to remember what that was like, and then trying to really find my path within bringing a character that would be authentic to a film that bleeds authenticity. I mean, you got the PBR involved with the film, you got real world champion bull riders, you know, stepping up to act in this thing. I'm like, well, I got to do my part, right? If they're gonna step into my world and do some acting, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do some bull riding in the film, but I certainly want to be able to know what that entails. And so a lot of research, watching a lot of old tape, you know, everything from the Lane Frost film to everything that's been made, you know, recently as well. And then, of course, you know, just watching the real competition, seeing guys like J.B. Mooney and Silvano Alves, and then having Silvano Alves on set and being able to learn from him. I mean, I was developing this as I was there even, because, you know, every moment that I could absorb something from these guys about what it takes to have this kind of grit, to step out each and every weekend, each and every event, and really put it all on the line. You know, they're risking life and limb every time they step on this animal, because I'll tell you what, these bulls didn't know that they were doing it for a movie. They were bucking for real. So, yeah, it was a lot of, you know, a lot of preparation. I was able to find, you know, a real life connection. My great grandfather's brother actually started a rodeo in a small town in Goiás, and so I was able to find, you know, sort of a real bloodline connection to the sport, and ended up, you know, interviewing with a couple of guys that have competed in Brazil at Barretos, and just, you know, trying to absorb as much from their experience so that everything that I brought to the screen and to the character of Bruno was authentic to what these guys really live and experience.
Something I love about this film is how deep it is. There are so many storylines interwoven, family, faith, friends, but also a really good rodeo movie.
Yes.
So what can people look forward to when they buy their ticket at their local theater, sit down to enjoy this movie?
You're getting action, you're getting heart, and you're getting the kind of film that I think we all yearn for nowadays. A film that has, you know, a traditional man at the center of it, if you will, in the sense where he's willing to put it all on the line for his family. You know, he's relying on his faith to carry him through, but more importantly, he's willing to put it down on the line for the well-being of others. And so I think that kind of selfless heroicism is something that we've lost track of a little bit. And so it's good to see that, but you also get the action and the thrill and the grit of the rodeo, and all that is brought authentically to the screen. So I would say when you buy a ticket to this film, you should see it on the biggest screen possible with the best sound possible, because it is an immersive experience, and we felt that. We felt that on set. You know, like I said, I saw these bulls giving it their 100%, and the riders getting on it every day for our film as well. And so, you know, the experience was the same thrill that you get, you know, going to the PBR events every weekend. I was able to go to a few events with Daylon before and after, and it just made me feel like the film really honors everything that these events bring. It was really, really incredible, and, you know, more than anything, a film that centers on family and faith, and I think that's really important at this particular time.
He is a natural on a steer.
Dad, I don't want him riding bulls. We've already been through this. Please don't encourage him.
What are your thoughts on next year's championship final?
Well, it'd be great if Joe Wainwright could ride again.
But if you entered that, you'd whoop their...
Who taught you how to talk like that?
You.
That's not bad for an old fart.
Charlie, I want to ride.
Ain't no way on God's green earth you riding in the PBR.
This is a joke. Have you lost your mind?
I'm going to say goodbye to Cody first.
Not one word.
Well, that went well.
Yeah, very.
I heard you're gonna ride in the competition. Mom doesn't seem too pleased about it.
Oh, well, this is gonna be big.
This ain't the senior circuit.
But I can't break free.
What is that? Chocolate milk?
Let's ride, boy.
Cody needs surgery. I can't afford it. I have no money.
How you feeling?
I told you I've got this.
I want to ride like the wind for my grandson.
Can't stop me now. Not getting hurt. Lace on my crown. Take my victory.
I can't keep blaming you. I just gotta let go and move forward.
Joe Wainwright, 3-time world champ, rides again for Cody.
That's a genuine, true legend right there.
Focus.
It's not my first rodeo, Pops.
Thank you so much for watching tonight's show. Like I said at the beginning, if you have not gotten your tickets to see The Last Rodeo, get them right now. Angel.com/rodeo. Get them before the movie comes out this Memorial Day weekend. It is a film to bring all of your family. It is a wonderful family film. So check it out. Thank you so much and have a good night.